All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Notes today look really long, but they're all pretty much the same. It's just a lot of different examples of the same thing.
Yeah, I got a dumb system for being late. Can't walk inside. All the way up to-
All right. So here's one formula that we've already done. Angle equals half the arc. This if you have an inscribed angle or there's only one arc inside the angle, and I'll explain that in a minute, okay? You also will have this one. And there may be another one in there, but this is if there are two arcs inside the angle. And again, I'll explain the difference between 1 and 2. One is the inscribed angles that we did before, and there's a couple other ones that kind of look like that. But for right now, we're going to focus on this formula right here, big arc minus little arc. And I know that's not the mathematically correct formula, but it helps you remember it a little bit easier. Okay, so big minus little. So if we look at number 1, and this is what we're talking about, if we extend this angle through, these are all tangent lines. So if we extend this through, you guys will see two arcs. You'll see a little one and a big one inside the angle. So everybody see that? So there's your two arcs. So when I say there's two inside, basically the full circle fits inside. You will see lines where they cut through the circle. So these are just two tangent lines. It's all the same formula. If there are two arcs inside, 1/2 big minus little. So your arc is going to equal 1/2. And I'm just going to do big minus L, big minus little. The problem is I only have the blue arc, which is 115. How could I find the pink arc? Subtract it from 360. So 360 minus 115 gives us 245. Is everybody okay with that, where that came from? And then we're going to put it in our formula. Angle equals half. Your big one is obviously the 245. Minus the little, which is 115. And you just put that in your calculator. I just do 245 minus 115 and then divide it by 2, which gives me 65. That's it, y'all. So the biggest thing is remembering which formula to use. So if there are two arcs inside the angle, you're going to use that formula. So again, if I extend this out, I see two arcs. I see a little one. And I see a big one. This time I have the pink one. How do I find the blue one? So 360 minus 246 gives me 114. So we do angle equals half of the big minus the little. So 246 minus 114, and half of that is 66 degrees. All right. The next two are exactly the same. The only difference is it says solve for x. So we're just using an x value. So again, angle equals half of the big arc minus the little arc. They give you the big arc. We need to find the little arc. So again, to find that little arc, 360 minus 235, which gives us 125. And then here's the only difference. You're actually given an expression for the angle. So the angle is 7x minus 8 equals half of the big 235 minus the little 125. I'm going to go ahead and do this side first. So 235 minus 125 divided by 2 gives me 55. Sorry, I was running out of lid. And then we're going to solve. We're going to add 8 to both sides. And we get 7x equals 63. And then divide by 7. And it said solve for x. So we're done. The next one is the same exact problem. I need to find this little arc. So I'm going to do 360 minus 228, which gives me 132. Our angle is 9x minus 6 equals half of the big minus the little. So again, I'm going to do this side first. 228 minus 132 divided by 2 gives me 48. Solve for x, we're going to add 6. Get 54. Divide by 9, and we get x is 6. So again, it's the same formula all the time. All right, so the harder questions, and if you get these, this is legit the hardest ones, okay? And I'm not saying they're hard, they're harder than everything else, okay? So on this, you got to find the arc, but they don't give you any measures on the arc. So what we're going to do is, you guys see how we did 360 minus 235 gave us that 125. We're going to label our little one x. Always label the little one x, otherwise it's going to come out screwed up. You're going to have to distribute negatives and be crazy, and we don't want to do that. Okay, so always make the little one x. Okay, always make a little x. So then to find this question mark, we would subtract that x from 360. Now I can set up an equation. My equation, and this is all the time, y'all, this is no different. Just make sure that the big one is the 360 minus x and the little one is x, okay? So we're going to do the angle 76 equals half of the big, which is 360 minus x, minus the little, which is x. If you do it the opposite way, you can still solve it. Like if you switch x and 360x, you'll just be distributing negatives. And sometimes you make a mistake doing that. You as a math 3 class that I've been teaching it the whole time, that's where the mistakes happen. So if you do it this way, it'll be fine. All right, so we get 76 equals half of 360 minus 2x. There are a couple different ways you can do this. You can multiply these by 2, or every single time divide these by 2. These are easy numbers to divide by 2. We're not going to have any decimals. So you can use your calculator. 360 divided by 2 is 180. And then 2 divided by 2 is 1. We're going to subtract 180. And we get negative 104. Equals negative x. And then these, I just change the sign on. You can divide by -1, but you're essentially just changing the sign. Now, what did it ask us to find? Did it say find x? No, it said find the arc indicated. So we need the question mark. The question mark is 360 minus x. What we found was the little arc. So how do I find the other one? 360 minus 104. Sorry, 360 minus 104, which is 256. So we did 360 minus 104. The next one's gonna be the same exact way. Remember, we label our big one 360 minus x and our little one x. Set it up the same exact way. Our angle is 65 equals 1/2 of big 360 minus x minus your little, which is x. We've already simplified this down over here to this 180 minus x. So I'm going to just go ahead and put it over there. We're going to take 65 and minus 180, and we get negative 115 equals negative x. And then we're going to change the sign. So x is 115, but it didn't ask for x. It asked for this one. So you're going to do 360 minus 115, and it's going to give us 245. Any questions? Okay. I'm not going to do every single one because I know there's a lot of notes, but we are going to go over quite a few. All right. So this one, the next one, the only difference is they give you the expression in the arc instead of giving you the expression in the angle. All right. So we're going to do the same thing. The angle equals half. How do I find the big arc? Watch this. Make sure you put the 22x minus 1 in parentheses. All right. So that's going to be 360 minus 22x plus 1. Does everybody see that plus 1? Because you distribute the negative, which is 361 minus 22x. All right, so I told you these are the crappy ones when you're having to deal with the arcs, okay? Big 361 minus 22x minus your little 22x minus 1. This is where I said you'll mess up. Not on purpose, just by going kind of quick, okay? I'm going to go ahead and multiply this 2 out just to get it out of the way. So I'm going to get 142. And then I'm going to try to clean this up a little bit. The 361 minus 22x is going to be fine. Then we have to distribute this negative. That's where I said, just watch that. You have to distribute the negative. Minus 22x, positive 1. So we're going to clean it up again. 142 equals 362 minus 44x. Okay. You're going to take your 142 and subtract your 362. You get negative 220 equals negative 44x. Divide by negative 44. And x equals positive 5. So again, that one, it's not hard. Just watch that distributing the negative. That's where the mess up happens. All right, look at this one. What do I not have on this one? I don't have that angle, right? Do I need the angle to figure out what the x is on this one? No, because I have the 2 measures of the circle, and the circle adds to what? 360. So we're going to add these up. 24x minus 10 plus 15x minus 20 equals 360. 24 plus 15 is 39x. Negative 10 minus 20 is negative 30. We're going to add 30, so we get 39x equals 390. divide by 39, and we get 10. And again, all it said was solve for x. So we're done. So don't use anything that you don't need. Okay, don't use anything that you don't need. Remember yesterday we were marking out some stuff that we didn't need because they were trying to trick us. Any questions on the front page? Same formula. All right, now look at these. Here's your angle. How many arcs are inside the angle? 1. That's just like the inscribed. So this one is angle equals half the arc. So we're going back to that easy formula. So if there's 2, you have to subtract them. If there's 1, you're just dividing it by 2. Okay. I have the big arc on the outside being 270. How can I find the blue arc? I get 90. So we do angle equals half the arc. The arc was 90. Half of 90 is 45. Number 10 is the exact same way. I'm going to move on from here. Okay. Number 10 is the exact same way. Look at number 11. So it says, assume the lines which would be a tangent or tangent. Same thing. It's inside, but now we have this crazy expression out here. So you're doing the same thing. So to find this arc, you're going to subtract all of that. Sorry, 258x from 360. Since there's only 1 inside, angle equals half the arc. Your angle is 54x minus 2. If we distribute this negative, we have 360 plus 2 minus 258x. 360 plus 2 is 362 minus 258x. It doesn't matter from here. You can either multiply the left side by 2 or divide the numbers inside. If they're even numbers, I would just go ahead and divide them by 2. It'll be fine. If they leave you with decimals, I probably wouldn't do that. So 362 divided by 2 is 181. 258 divided by 2 is minus 129x. I'm going to add my 129x. Gives me 183. I'm going to add my 2, which also gives me 183. Divide by 183, and x is 1. Do we need to do another one of those? Okay. Same thing here. Your arc is 47x plus 5, but I don't need that. I need this one. So to get that, we're going to subtract it from 360. We're going to distribute that negative. That'll give us 360 minus 47x minus 5. So then over here, the arc equals half. I'm sorry, the angle equals half of the arc. 360 minus 47x minus 5. And your angle is the 13x minus 5. We're going to clean this up. 360 minus 5 is 355 minus 47x. Here's what I was talking about. If these are odd numbers, you probably don't want decimals. Okay. So on this one, I would definitely multiply the other side by 2. So I'd get 26x minus 10 equals 355 minus 47x. Add your 47. You get 73x minus 10 equals 355. Add your 10, 73x equals 365. And then divide, and you get 5. Thirteen and 14 are like the other ones. So it wants us to find the big arc. So angle equals half the arc. That would be this arc, but it wants the bigger one. So your angle is 55. We don't know our smaller arc. Multiply by 2, we get 110. But how do we find this question mark? This one is 110. So 360 minus 110 is 250. So sorry, 250. So that one's pretty easy. 14 is even easier because I'm looking for the little one. Angle equals half the arc. We don't know the arc, but we know the angle is 60. Multiply by 2. And we get that this is 120. We don't look for the big arc. $15 and $16 are just like 11 and 12. Exactly like 11 and 12. Is everybody good? Okay, they just have expressions out here instead. So when you try to find the little one, I'm going to do this part, but not the rest of it. You're going to do 360 minus, make sure you put parentheses, x plus 278 like this, which would give you 360 minus x minus 278. And then clean that up. Is everybody good? All right. I'm going to flip it over. On the front, we had 2 tangent lines. This is called a secant line because it goes through. But again, you guys can see that there's one arc right here inside. And there's another arc right here. So there are 2 arcs inside of that angle. So we're going back to the formula, half big minus little. So your angle is x equals 1/2. Your big arc is 174 minus 88. And then divide by 2, and we get x equals 43. That's it. 18 is exactly the same. This is where I'm talking about it's going to start repeating itself so we don't have to do all the problems. Okay, so this is literally just like the front page. The only difference is this line goes through the circle instead of being on the outside, but it's the same formula. So if we look at number 19, the angle equals 1/2 big minus little. Your angle is 5x minus 5 equals 1/2. Your big arc inside is your 195 minus your 105. Just like the front page, I'm going to do the right side first. And I get 5x minus 5 equals 45. Add 5, so 5x equals 50. Divide by 5, x equals 10. All right. I am going to do number 20 just because it has that expression in there. I'm going to set it up. I'm not going to solve it. Okay. So we're going to set it up. Angle is 70x equals 1/2. Your big arc is the one that's big. So 205 minus your little -1 plus 66x. So again, this is where mistakes happen. Make sure that you distribute that -1. So you should have 205 plus 1 minus 66x to solve. Get ready to go. All right. Again, I'm not going to solve it. You can solve it later if you want to. 21, same thing. Angle equals 1/2 of big minus little. We don't have this one, so we're just going to put an X. Your angle is 41 equals 1/2. Your big is X. Your little is 86. Multiply 41 by 2, so I get 82 equals X minus 86. Add 86, you get 168. '22 is the exact same way, except for this is going to be X. Just set it up to 11 minus X. Okay, so it'll be the opposite way. 23, same thing. Angle is 55 equals 1/2 of your big, 32x plus 3 minus your little 85. Solve that out. I'm not going to solve this, and I'm going to look at 24 because it's a little bit harder. Okay, it's not much. It's just got that distribution in it. So your angle is 7x minus 8 equals 1/2 of your big, 21x plus 2, minus your little. Make sure you distribute that negative. So 7x minus 8 equals 1/2 of 21x plus 2 minus 10x plus 9. Clean it up. 7x minus 8 equals 1/2. 21 minus 10 is 11x. 2 plus 9 is 11. Again, I have odd numbers inside, so I'll probably just multiply the other side by 2. So 14x minus 16 equals 11x plus 11. Subtract 11x. You get 3x minus 16 equals 11. Add 16. You get 3x equals 27. Divide by 3 and x equals 9. So again, the only reason that one is harder is because distributing that negative. Everything else is set up exactly the same. All right. Any questions? All right, find the measure of the arc or angle indicated. So now what's different? What do we have different? See the lines inside, right? They're not angles and they're not outside. So when it looks like this, these are not X's, but when they intersect inside, your formula is going to be the angle equals 1/2 of arc plus arc. Angle equals 1/2 of arc plus arc. So it's still the X that we were talking about when we were talking about vertical angles, but these are not vertical angles. So you guys see the X right here. We're going to set it up. Angle equals 1/2. Here are your two arcs. It's going to be the arcs that are across from that X angle. So your two arcs are 99. These are plus 83. Just put it in your calculator. And you get the angle equals 91 degrees. So again, here's your X. We're looking at these two arcs. Your angle is X equals half of the two arcs added together. 80 plus 170 divided by 2 is 125. All right, and just remember, we're looking for angles on this. '27 says do the same thing, solve for X. So here's our arcs, and our angle is 11x minus 7. So your angle is 11x minus 7 equals half of your two arcs added together, 89 plus 95. 89 plus 95 is 184, divided by 2 is 92. We're going to add 7 and get 99, divide by 11 and get 9. 28 is the exact same way. Okay. Same formula. All right. The only way the next one is different is because you're finding the arc instead of the angle. So there's your two arcs. Your angle is 110 equals half. And again, it doesn't matter which arc you put in front, X and 50. Again, on this one, because 1x is odd, I'm going to multiply the other side by 2. So 220 equals X plus 50. And then 220 minus 50 is going to be 170. That's all you do. Number 30 is the exact same way. 31 is the same formula. These are easier because they don't have minuses. Okay, there's no real mess ups on here. You can't really screw it up. Okay, so your angle is 129 equals half of your arcs added together. So again, no way you can really screw it up. I have 129 equals half of 58 plus 25x. Since 25 is odd, I'm going to go ahead and multiply the other side by 2, which gives me 258 equals 58 plus 25x. Subtract your 58. You get 200 equals 25x. Divide by 25. And x equals 8. 32 is the exact same way. The exact same thing. Is everybody good? Any questions? Ooh, sorry, y'all. All right. So we're going back to angles. It kind of flips back and forth. What formula would I use for this one? Say it again. I think you were right. I just couldn't hear you. Half of the arc, right? Why? There's only one arc inside. Does everybody see it? So here's your angle. There's only one arc inside. So you're going to do angle equals half of 90, which is 45. 34 is the exact same way. 35 is the exact same way. It's just got expressions. 36 is the same. 37 and 38 are also the same. You're just looking for the arc instead of the angle. Same thing, 39 and 40. So 33 through 40 all work the same way. Okay, let's drop down here. How many arcs are inside the angle? Here's your angle. How many arcs are inside? 2, right? So this one is where you subtract. Angle equals half of big minus little. So we don't know our angle. Half, our big is 124. Our little is 44. 124 minus 44 divided by 2 is 40. So again, it's just getting you to realize which formula you use. Any questions? 41. All right, same thing here. Here's your angle. How many arcs are inside the angle? 2. So this one is angle equals half big minus little. I don't have to do this, just showing you the formula. If you look at all of the rest of them, they're all the same. Let's look at 47. Okay, let's look at 47. And I'm going to change your homework a little bit. So don't leave me and don't look at that homework that's on there. I'm going to change it a little bit. Okay. So here's your angle. We have 2 arcs inside. Half big minus little. Our angle that they give us is 60 equals 1/2. Your big is 165. Your little is the expression, so we know that we're going to have to distribute that negative. So I just want to do one more with you where we have to distribute the negative. I'm going to go ahead and multiply the 2 to get it out of the way. So I get 120 equals, distribute your negative, 165 minus 45 minus 2x. (165 minus 45 is 120 minus 2x. Here's another thing. After not doing math for a while, some people forget this, that this problem still continues. My math 1 will stop right here every single time. We still need to divide by -2. And we get that x is 0. 48 is the exact same way. Any questions there? All right, let me keep looking. That's it, we're done. All right, so what I want you to do for homework now, instead of doing the homework sheet that I put on there, and I'm going to go in and close it and move it, I want you to finish your notes up. So every problem that we didn't do in your notes, that's what I want you to do for homework. Got it? And then we'll continue this on Monday. So if you guys have any questions, we can go back over it because I know it was a lot thrown at you at one time. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and stop recording.